Hello everyone, good day and welcome to your EVS 2 class. In our last video, we completed life on earth. Now we will start a new chapter, chapter 4, evolution. Evolution is the topic we are going to study in chapter number 4. The topics to be covered in this chapter: 4.1, the concept of evolution; 4.2, the stages of evolution; and 4.3, apes. These are the subtopics we are going to cover in chapter number 4, evolution. 4.1, the concept of evolution. The word evolution is generally understood to mean gradual and continuous change. Evolution in the plant and animal world can be explained in the following manner. In the process of survival, by adapting to environmental changes, certain internal physical changes occur in some animals of a species. Let's see. The word evolution is generally understood to mean gradual and continuous change. Evolution means gradual and continuous change. Evolution in plant and animal world can be explained in the following manner. In the process of survival by adapting to environmental changes, certain internal physical changes occur in some animals of a species. Over a period of time, these internal changes become inherited characteristics seen in the following generations. Thus, a new species with characteristics different from the original may be created. Such a species is usually more evolved than the original one. Okay, over a period of time, the internal changes become inherited characteristics seen in all the following generations. Thus, a new species with the characteristics different from the original may be created. A new species with the different characteristics will be created. Such a species is usually more evolved than the original one. Sometimes the original species die out. Okay, they die or become extinct. In some cases, the original species die out or become extinct. Sometimes, more than one species evolved from the original one. Sometimes, more than one species may be evolved from the original one. The first scientist to give us a systematic explanation of the concept of evolution was Charles Darwin. Okay, Charles Darwin was the scientist who was given an explanation about these changes. The first scientist to give us a systematic explanation of the concept of evolution was Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, the C is written in small letter here, make it capital letter when you write in your book. Charles Darwin. Species which are capable of adapting to environmental changes are able to survive. Okay, the species which are capable of adapting to environmental changes are able to survive. The one that cannot do so become extinct in the process of evolution. The one are not able to adapt to the changing environment, they die out or become extinct in the process of evolution. So Charles Darwin, the scientist, the first scientist to give a systematic explanation of evolution. He was born in 1809 AD and died in 1882 AD. He is the scientist who first given us a systematic explanation about the evolution. In ancient times, there were many species of a type of animals called dinosaur. Dinos in Greek means terrible and sauros means lizard or reptile. In ancient times, there were many species of a type of animal called dinosaur. Dinos in Greek means terrible and sauros means lizard or reptile. Dinosaur means terrible lizard. Some of these dinosaurs were enormous in size, very huge in size. It appears that these species of enormous dinosaurs suddenly became extinct. It means disappeared in this world or died, vanished. Some natural disaster or environmental change is believed to be responsible for their extinction. What was the reason for their extinction? Some natural disaster or environmental change is believed to be responsible for their extinction. Fossils of dinosaurs with the wing out discovered. Fossils of dinosaurs with the wing out discovered. It is believed that some species of two-legged and winged dinosaurs evolved into birds. That some species of dinosaurs with the two-legged and winged dinosaurs evolved into birds in their later life. We can see here the skeleton of a dinosaur, and the reconstructed one here, the reconstruction of a dinosaur with wings. Okay, now we will conclude this lesson here, for this video here, and we will watch a video of dinosaur.
This led the reptiles to adapt to their specific habitats and diversify, giving rise to many new dinosaur species. According to some estimates, more than 1,000 species of dinosaurs have roamed the Earth. All dinosaurs descended from reptiles called archosaurs. From there, dinosaurs branched out into two major groups, Saurischia and Ornithischia, based on the shape and orientation of their pelvis. In Saurischian dinosaurs, such as Tyrannosaurus rex and Brachiosaurus, the pelvis's pubis bone faces forward and down. In Ornithischian dinosaurs, such as Stegosaurus and Hadrosaurus, the pubis bone faces backward and down. Across both groups, dinosaurs varied greatly in size. Some were small, like Compsognathus, which was barely larger than a chicken, whereas others were gigantic, like Dreadnoughtus, which was 85 feet long and weighed 65 tons, making it the largest land animal to have ever lived. Dinosaur diets varied as well. Herbivores, like hadrosaurs, evolved to have specialized teeth for grinding tough plant material. Carnivores made up roughly 40% of dinosaur species. Some predators, like the raptor Deinonychus, even hunted in packs. Social behaviors were also found in other dinosaurs. Footprints and trackways indicate that some of the ancient reptiles traveled together. Evidence also shows that herds may have made annual visits to certain sites to lay their eggs. But by around 66 million years ago, most dinosaurs died out, and the reason why is still a mystery. already in severe decline by the time the asteroid struck. However, several dinosaur species survived, and some of which evolved to become today's birds. The world has never again seen land creatures as great as the dinosaurs. Going through their descendants and fossils left behind, their legacy lives on.
Okay, that was a lesson on dinosaur. Okay, with this we'll wind up this video and we'll continue the remaining part of the lesson in our next video. You will have your unit test, test number 1. For test number 1, you study lesson number, chapter number 1. For your test number 1, study chapter 1. And for test 2, study chapter 2. And for test 3, study chapter 3. Okay, so you may read the textbook, watch the video if it is possible again, and go through each and every answers and all the extra questions which I give you. Then prepare well for your test. And we will be taking the test for 10 marks, and that Google form will be provided for you. And then you appear directly all multiple choice questions will be there. You have to choose the right answer. Read the question carefully before answering. And this chapter, the continuation of this chapter, we will take in the next video. And I have already uploaded a video of the questions and answers with extra questions and answers on in my YouTube channel, AK Sir Anand Tarakil. And you can visit our YouTube channel and go to the videos and write down the questions and answers. Okay, everyone. Hope you will do well in the exam. Wishing you all the best, and also take care. Stay home, stay safe. Okay, let us begin with 4.2, the stages of evolution of animals. The stages of evolution of animals. We have learned in the previous lesson that life on Earth began with the unicellular organisms known as protozoa. Okay, this part we studied in the last lesson. These unicellular organisms gave rise to multicellular living things. Okay, this unicellular protozoa gave rise to the development of multicellular living things. The multicellular organisms evolved gradually, and various classes of plants and animals came into being. Okay, first life originated as protozoa, the unicellular organisms, and from the unicellular ones developed the multicellular living organisms. Later on, that it developed into different classes of plants and animals. Okay, and the life changed in the world. Stages of evolution of animals. First, let's study invertebrates. Okay, invertebrates. Animals without backbone are called invertebrates. Okay, animals without backbone are called invertebrates. An example, a snail. A snail is an example of invertebrate. You can see the snail. They don't have backbone. So these are the other invertebrate pictures. You can see the starfish, butterfly, okay, octopus, crab, all this, spider, all these are invertebrate. They don't have backbones. And let's study about vertebrates. And vertebrates means you can understand invertebrate if they don't have backbone, and vertebrate will definitely have backbone. These are all the living things. They are included in the family of vertebrates. Let's continue and check it. Vertebrates. Animals which have backbone are called vertebrates. Aquatic animals, example fish. Fish is an example given for a vertebrate animal. It's an aquatic animal. Let's continue with the next one, amphibians. Amphibians. Animals which live in water and on land are called amphibians. Animals which live in water, okay, the animals which can live in water and also on land are called amphibians. The word you may check, amphibians. Okay, amphibians can live in water and also on land. Okay, so you can see frog and bird. These are the two examples given for you. Next is reptiles. Animals which crawl are called reptiles. Okay, animals which crawl don't have leg. Okay, they don't have leg or they have very small, very short leg. Okay, such living things are called reptiles. Okay, the example is given with a snake. Snake is an example given for reptile. Example, a snake. Next is mammals. They are all included in the family of vertebrates. Mammals. Okay, example, a cow. Mammals are the most evolved animals among vertebrates. Okay, cow is an example given for mammal. Okay, and mammals are the most evolved animals among vertebrates. That point you remember. Now let's see characteristics of mammals. What are the characteristics of mammals? Point 1. Growth of the baby in the mother's womb for some time before birth. Okay, before birth, the growth of the baby in mother's womb. Okay, that's the first point, first characteristics. And the second one is the baby is fed on the mother's milk, okay, for some time after birth. Okay, the baby is fed on, given food, okay, fed on the mother's milk for some time after birth. These two are the most important characteristics of mammals. But there are some exceptions. We can see there are some exceptions. The platypus and some species of anteater. Okay, anteater. Platypus and anteater are exceptions to this. Okay, they are considered mammals because even though they lay eggs, okay, these two are egg-laying mammals, platypus and anteater, okay, they lay eggs, but they suckle their young ones, okay, they also feed their young ones. That is why they are considered to be mammals. Platypus and some species of anteater are exceptions to this. They are considered mammals because even though they lay eggs, they suckle their young ones. Okay, this is a picture of a platypus, and this is the picture of an anteater. Okay, platypus, anteater. Okay, let us continue. Okay, you can see all our friends are here. See, so all are our friends. These are our forefathers. Okay. 4.3. Let's continue with 4.3. Apes. Okay, these are the apes picture. Okay, apes pictures are given here. I have just jokingly shown you and said these are our friends. Really, all animals are our friends. Don't take it seriously. All the living things are our friends. We have to take them into as our friends. Let's continue. Apes are somewhat like humans in appearance. Okay. Apes are somewhat like humans in appearance. They mostly lived on trees. Apes are somewhat like humans and they mostly lived on trees. Those species of the apes which continue to live on trees retained their original ape-like form. Okay, the apes which continued to live on the trees, okay, they retained their original ape-like form. Okay, however, in grasslands, some ape species were forced to move around on the ground. But in the grassland region, Apes of some species are forced to move around on the ground. They had to walk on the ground. These species evolved gradually and in time gave rise to the human species. Okay, now you understand how the human beings come into being. Okay, the species, okay, these species of the apes which roam about in the grassland, okay, evolved gradually and in time gave rise to the human species. This happened first in the African continent. In the African continent, first this thing happened. What? The apes slowly walking on the ground, slowly and slowly they changed and became the human being. They appeared in the human form, and this first happened in the African continent. The first human species is called primitive man. See the word here, primitive. Okay, the first human species is called primitive man. Primitive means the first. Primitive means the first. Okay, you know now how the human life started on the earth. Okay, from the apes which were living on the branches of the trees, they retained the original ape-like form. But in the grasslands, apes were forced to move around on the ground and they gradually changed and became human beings. So it occurred first in the African continent, and the first men, they were called primitive men, and primitive means the first. Okay, you can see in the picture the apes which are roaming on the ground. Okay, this form slowly they become little taller and erect. Okay, become more like humans, and slowly they change and progress and reach now the present day human beings. Okay, so this we are going to study in detail in the next chapter. In the next chapter we shall learn more about the evolution of human species. The evolution of human species we are going to study in detail in the next chapter. Okay, everybody, that's the end of the chapter 4, evolution. Now, this video, okay, you can visit YouTube channel AK Saranatharakal and go to the videos, and you can write the questions and answers. Okay, all the questions and answers video is already there in the YouTube channel, and you can visit AK Saranatharakal and write all the questions and answers, the fill in the blanks, objective type questions, and all the extra questions and their answers you can see there, and you can copy that to book. I'm very happy that some of the boys are very smart. They already visited the channel and copied all the questions and answers, even written comments. Okay, congratulations boys, and I want all the others also to visit and copy all the questions and answers.